Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble while following us on Facebook, or find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for past episodes, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe or follow today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Hello and welcome wherever you might be on the spaceship we call Earth. You've tuned in to Conscious Radio Network's The Seance Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, please click subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. And of course, follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts, and you'll never miss an episode. Today, our guest, Jason Gabelli, is a true catalyst for transformation, ordained minister, certified hypnotist, and NLP practitioner. With a deep passion for personal growth, he blends faith, forgiveness, and love to help others unlock their full potential. As an author and founder of multiple businesses dedicated to empowerment and healing, Jason is here to share his insights on transformation and positive change. Let's welcome to the seance for the first time, Jason Gabelli. Welcome, brother.
Wonderful. It's good to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to be on your show.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. So you're into a lot of things. We could do multiple shows on several different topics, especially the real estate thing and the 3D home printing thing. That's a subject in and of itself.
They all melt together. We're here to help people. That's all.
Yes.
Empower people and help change lives.
Exactly. But we're going to dig into the FFL modality. Explain how the FFL modality, combining faith, forgiveness, and love, helps.
So this was introduced in my book, my first book. It's called Infused Hypnosis, The Transformative Power of the FFL Modality. That's my book right here.
There we go. Let me bring that up.
And
there we go.
Oh, nice, beautiful. Yeah. So what I've done is I've created this modality, and it's nothing new. These principles have been around forever. We just organize them in a way so they're so productive for life and for other people. And I have it in all of my books, by the way. It's introduced in all my books. And the children's book, it's very lightly, but it's still there. Very simple. If you'd like to know how it works, it has to do with past, present, and future. And so many people have worries and fears and regrets, worries and fears and things, anxiety, and that all has to do with the future. And if we deal with these things with one spiritual principle, faith, we can erase all the worry, fear, and regret when we have faith. We're faith in ourselves, God, higher power, universe, whatever you want to call it. But it's that internal divine within inside that can wipe out all the fear, anxiety, and worry so that we can come back to now. But there's another side that happens. Life, and we go through things, and our past comes up. And I've known so many people, including myself in the past, where something has happened and we've been through this trauma, and what happened back in 1973 affects how we're living today. Shoot, it could be what happens yesterday, how we're living today.
Yeah.
So the spiritual principle that can deal with this is very simple. It's forgiveness. Forgiveness for myself and forgiveness for others. Because forgiveness allows us to get the freedom, to have the acceptance, to let go of that past so we don't have to live in that past, and the past doesn't have to affect today. So proper living is right here, right now, because that's all we really have is right here, right now. All we have is the present. I mean, in fact, the decisions we make today create our dreams for tomorrow. It never comes. So today there's another experience that we live with, and this is the most important, and that's love, because many of us can get caught up in anger and envy, resentment, things that are present in our mind. And if we can just take those and answer those with love, it erases all of that. And my belief is that if there's not love in it, why are we doing it? Doing the right thing for the right reasons. So it's very simple. And we can say this too. Doing the right thing is better than doing the wrong thing. So even if you're doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, it's better than doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But it's so much more beneficial when our motives are right and we do the right thing for the right reasons. And that's acting in love.
Especially, and if you know you're doing everything in the right reasons and with forgiveness, especially doing stuff for the right reasons, you have a clear conscience all the time. And you lose that worry. You lose that feeling of worry and regret and stuff because you're moving with your heart, living with
exactly. And even when we do things for the wrong reasons, or we do things that are wrong, we know it when we're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk to people who've been to prisons or jails or who are struggling with addiction, and they'll tell you, I know I was doing wrong whenever I was doing wrong. I just found it uncontrollable. So we got these inner demons that haunt us. Some people think that they're big monsters, like Hollywood portrays them. They're red with horns or green with horns or something like this, but they're not. They're more familiar, and they're actually more deadly. It's greed, jealousy, hate, anger, fear, resentment, worry, anxiety. Those are the demons that really haunt us. Those are the demons that feed the addiction, and those are the demons that possess us. And pretty soon you're like, man, why did I just say that? Why did I act in that way? Well, we need to stop those things. And the way to do that is to practice spiritual principles.
Yeah. Yeah. What is your thought on this internal dialogue that we listen to every day, and we either steer towards it or we steer away from it, or we let it distract us?
Well, see, what happens is, and I like to visualize it like this, and this works great with hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming, is that think of your mind as a forest and there's trails. And you're walking through the same trail over and over and over again. And the more we walk through that trail, the more it gets embedded. And it takes us to a place where sometimes we just don't want to go. This is especially true in relationships. They're doing the same dance over and over and over again. The thing of it is that when one person changes, the whole dance changes.
Yeah.
All we have to do is rewire that, redo that path, and find a different path. Now, when we find a different path that goes to a place that we want to go, what happens is the old path will eventually grow over and the new path will get ingrained in. So we can rewire the mind. I mean, it's just simple neuroplasticity. The key is to be aware and to discover it. And we can't discover it when our body's in a toxic state. When we're stuck in the past or we're stuck in the present, we just can't discover it. So we need to stuck in the future. We need to get in the present and need to be aware. And even when we're in the present, we need to be in a proper state.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, for those individuals out there that are, I wouldn't say suffer, but are conscientious that they, I'd say living in the moment, somebody who's living in the moment, like people who are road rage all the time, they're obviously living in the moment. Yes. Yeah, but at the same time too, those that are conscientious that, okay, I've got a trigger and I kind of get violent and I need to fix this. They really need to, I really need to fix this. What are some of the good steps for them to kind of go, okay, hold on a second.
Well, one thing is we want to rewire the path so that we're not stuck in that same situation over again. But what we focus on expands. So that anger expands when we focus on it. Mm-hmm. A feeling or an emotion only lasts for about 90 seconds. It comes, it peaks, and then it drifts. But what happens is so often that a person will entertain that feeling and they'll run this tape over again and they'll play a story behind that feeling saying that this is what's happening, this is why they're acting that way. And when they run it, it's no longer the same feeling. It's exploded and it's expanded. And there's actually science behind this. It's very simple when you think about it, but our bodies are all made with molecules. And inside those molecules are the atoms, and those atoms vibrate. They vibrate and they move. We all know this. We see this in a microscope. It's science.
Yeah.
However, it's also been proven that our feelings, thoughts, and emotions can affect those vibrations that are going on in those atoms. Now, a good positive emotion, like, love, forgiveness, faith, things like this, passion, gratitude, those things will create a higher vibration in the atoms. A negative emotion, like the road rage or the anger or the regret or the fear or the anxiety or remorse, those will slow down the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And when we slow down the vibrations, it's the quantum level because it's the effect between the molecules. And it's like almost on the DNA level. But what it does is it creates acid. It makes an acid state. And the body can't heal when it's in an acid state. It doesn't work right. Our body should be in an alkaline state. Positive vibrations create the alkaline state. Great for healing, great for changing, great for neuroplasticity. But when you're in the middle of a road rage, it's hard to back off of that.
Yeah.
And it continues to grow. That's why you'll see someone when they get upset or they're feeling bad, they'll feel that acid in their stomach. Their stomach will get upset. Or they'll get the headaches. Or there'll be physical things that will happen. And the worry may come because of the physical things, and it expands. It creates more acid. It creates more negativity. So negativity creates negativity, where positivity will create positivity, and you open up the world to all kinds of things. So it's really important how we wire our minds and where we're focused on and what thoughts we choose to entertain. And
it is kind of tricky to shut down that what if scenario in our minds, especially during a road rage. Oh, what if this? What if that? I mean, it's like, whoa, hold on a second. It never happened. What's going on? We sabotage ourselves all the time.
Yes. And I'm a bit older than you, but I got to also watch what I'm saying to myself or what I'm singing to myself. Because some of the good old rock and roll songs, I love them. But if I'm coming home to visit my wife, I really don't need to be singing, I ain't got no I can't get no satisfaction. You know what I mean? I just can't be singing this. If I'm going to a business appointment, I definitely don't need to be jamming to Van Halen and singing Running with the... Hear myself say those things. Do I need to hear myself sing those things? And why am I putting these thoughts into my unconscious mind? So I think awareness is key.
Yeah. Definitely being aware, living in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to touch a little bit aside from this book. I thought it was kind of fun too when I saw it that in your book, how Rocky the Lobster outgrew his shell. You talk about some self-love and how the ripple effect of our actions. How can we apply these in our daily lives? Let me bring that book up. There we go. For those who want to find it, it's on Amazon, or it's on Amazon in paperback or Kindle, correct?
Yes, and you can actually listen it to 3 on YouTube. Because you listen to it for free, you're going to want to buy it because it's a great book. So here's the thing. I want to say in October. Yeah, it was. It was like the middle of October. I was at the house and I got real dizzy and my head got on. I didn't know what was going on. My wife said, you know what? We need to check you out and check your blood pressure. So she went to check my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was extremely high. My blood pressure was, and my heart rate was just crazy. It was off the hook. It was like 180 something.
Whoa.
So I thought I was going to be okay. I just thought I was a little dizzy, but she had me go to the ambulance, and they gave me one of those things he said he jump-started my body, jump-started my heart, and I think it was just an anomaly that it just happened because I thought I was okay, but apparently it wasn't. And they put me in the hospital for a few days. Well, it so happened to be that my grandson was coming over that weekend. And I told the doctors, I said, look, I am not going to be in the hospital when my grandson's coming. Get me out. So they let me out, and I got out, and everything's fine. My heart's fine. But when I got home that morning, it was the day before he was going to come home, I thought, you know what? Let's leave something for my grandson. So I took about 3 or 4 hours and wrote that book. Wow. He was having a little bit of struggles getting along with the kids. So I wrote the book. I developed the characters that you see there, and they all have their little individual niches and struggles. And I introduced a little bit of Dr. Wayne Dwyer in there.
Nice.
I introduced my FFL modality in there. Lightly, the teacher explains it to him. And then I have Rocky do a little bit of Ho'oponopono to really get in touch. And that's how he breaks out of his shell. I think it's a wonderful story. It sounds like you saw the story or read the story. So
Yeah.
it's
That's a
a
cool
great story
cover.
with a
That's a
happy
cool
ending.
cover. That's
Thank you.
really cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
So we got them together. The shark is named Miss Sophie. And interesting enough, because this is the only woman, the others are the 4 boys. The shark's name is Sophie, and I use the word Sophie because it's, Latin for wise. So I thought that fits in perfect because, of course, she's going to introduce my FFL modality to the kids.
Nice. So as a certified hypnotist and expert in human behavior, what are some common self-sabotaging behaviors people struggle with, and how they can overcome them, aside from what we talked about?
Self-esteem is one of the worst. And if you wanted to, anyone can here that's listening, they can go to my website, www.gounder.com/self-esteem and get my book. My book's called, it's a free book. It's called Do You Sabotage Yourself Without Even Knowing It?
Wow.
And it's a comprehensive guide to self-esteem. So it's interesting that you use the word sabotage because that's the book. So you go to www.go-under.com/self-sabotage. and you'll get my book. You get it for free. It's not a big book, but there's a lot of powerful stuff in there because that self-esteem can kill us. I'm not good enough and all this stuff. And people that are really successful, they have the same thing. They have, it's called imposter syndrome. They have the same thing where it's like, even though we're successful, we're making it, that, that little voice can come and creep inside and say, well, maybe you could do better.
Yeah. And when we overdo it and overdo it and overdo it, or being too judgmental, or even paying attention to I'm like that. I mean, everybody pays attention to detail, and or too close attention to detail where you drop everything and you have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, that we can have a nervous breakdown when we self-inflict it. But the other thing that we can do, and it just totally destroys relationships, is when we so focused on someone else and what they're doing. And what I call that is driving on their side of the highway. Yeah. Because what happens is when we're talking about what another person's doing and we put our opinions, our beliefs behind their actions, well, that's no longer them. That's us putting ourselves in their shoes. And when we do that, we're driving down their road. And everyone knows that if you're driving down the wrong side of the highway, pretty soon you're going to have a big confrontation one day. So autonomy is really important, just to allow others to have their own autonomy and, tolerance, to let them be their own human being.
And that does segue in the next question is, especially in relationships, and someone that knows they're in a really good relationship, they love each other, but they catch themselves kind of trying to be controlling. They don't want to be a narcissist. And they're not naturally narcissistic, but they find themselves trying to control somebody. What is a good way for them to kind of recognize that and kind of back away and give them space?
I think it's important that we realize that if you spot it, you got it.
Yeah.
When you're starting to recognize that behavior in another person, that's probably because it's a reflection of something that's going on inside of you, something that's going on inside of me. Now, I've been together with my wife for over 30 years. We'll be married for 30 years this coming August.
Wow. Congratulations.
And almost the state record here in California.
Yeah.
Anyway, we fight and we go through fights and sometimes like that. But sometimes we need to step back and say, well, wait a minute. Maybe I am on her side of the street. Maybe I realize that she has a God in her life too, and I just got to let God handle that. And we can have our differences and believe differently, and it's okay. I can allow her to be wrong sometimes. Or whatever. I can be wrong too. She can allow me to be wrong, but it's okay for us to have differences. As a matter of fact, we both vote differently politically. And it just frustrates me nowadays. I see things and I see people, family members even, or close friends that have been friends for years thinking, well, I don't want to hang you around with you no more because of who you voted for and things like this. And it's like, seriously, what are you talking about? That's what makes this so special, is that we can all have different opinions. We can all come and bring our different strengths. If we all thought the same, it would be terrible. It would be a terrible world. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Give people the space. Don't be controlling. And yeah, it just,
I
yeah.
find that especially hard with my kids. Because see, the kids, you want to tell them what to do, and don't do this. You're going to make the mistakes, man. You really shouldn't. I tell my daughter, I don't know, Lisa, you shouldn't get that tattoo.
Yeah, right.
But I have to allow her to be her own person. I have to allow her to be her own individual. I have to allow her to go what she had to go through, just like I had to go through what I went through. And every single thing that I went through, even things that I thought were terrible and were mistakes, made me who I am today. Just like everything you go through makes you who you are. So I can't look at the past and say, oh man, I regret that, because that may have been the thing that made me who I am today. I may be totally different if I didn't go through those experiences.
Yeah. And that might be a challenging thing for parents out there, for the young ones, is giving your children enough space for them to, think for themselves, allow them to have, build the critical thinking, thinking skills and stuff. But at the same time, too, it's like, okay, drawing that line is, okay, I'm being the parent now, and what are some good techniques for parents to where it's like, okay, giving it just enough space, but at the same time,
I think we want to guide, lead by example. I think if we tell the kid to take out the trash, maybe we should need to take out the trash sometimes too.
yeah.
And sometimes those examples can be bad. Let me give you an example. I'll give you a great example. When I was 11 years old, I watched my dad OD in the backyard on Thanksgiving Day.
Wow.
And he was 35 and he died. I swore I'd never use drugs. And then a few years later, I found myself trapped in addiction.
Wow.
I stayed there for almost 12, 13 years. I got clean when I was 26. So I've been clean for over 36 years now, but I went through that path. And then my mom remarried and we moved to California. I met my stepfather and he was so strict and so controlling. I remember my nickname for him was the asshole, because that's how I thought he was. It was just terrible. It was hard for me to party with him around. He was just a pain for me. After I got older, much older, and I had kids of my own, I realized he was really a good guy doing the best that he could with what he had. And I might have felt like he was controlling at the time because I wanted to run and do what I wanted to do, but he really tried. So this brings up my point that we're all human beings and we need to take that label off. That label of parent I need to remove, or when I was the kid, I need to remove the label of parent. When I'm the parent, I need to remove the label of that's my kid and allow them to be human. Because when I allow someone to be human, I don't have those pre-expectations already wrapped into them. You're not acting the way a mother thinks should act. So there I get angry because you're not being what I expect a mother to be. When we take those labels off, it makes everything different. I mean, how many times would you get pulled over and the first thing you think is, well, there's a cop. I better start talking differently and acting differently instead of, well, you know what, maybe he's just a human being too and he's doing his job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, treating everybody like human beings. That is one thing I felt a lot when a lot of my word I'm looking for. I felt a lot of the empathy when I traveled abroad. I lived in Shanghai, mainland China, for about a year, and as also a practicing medium, spiritual medium. It was kind of a way for me to exercise this gift, this inherent ability, is being around so many people. I mean, that's the biggest city I've ever lived in. I've never lived in big cities other than that one. And it's like, wow. Getting to see people in environments and being close to that many people, you pick up their energy. You can look at somebody and you can connect to them at a spiritual level, whether you know them or not.
Yes.
And I can feel certain types of, every now and then I'll run, like, I'll be close to somebody and I'll feel sorrow. I'll feel something. It's like, okay, wow, they must be going through something. But I feel everybody has that ability. Everybody has that ability. And if we turn that on, our compassion towards everybody would be, this world would be a completely different place.
100% agreed. And we don't even have to be in the same room, because I can feel your energy across the line, and I'm pretty sure you can feel mine too.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful how that can work. And it's not only is it not limited to space like this, I don't think it's limited to time either. True. Because I think someone might be able to listen to this a week from now and still feel the same energy that we feel today.
Yeah.
I think it stays with the source.
Yeah. It all stems from one spot, the source energy, from the source field, from God, from whatever you call it. The source field. And it's an amazing thing. It's a very amazing thing.
Yes, I 100%. I'm right on target with you. So you can probably feel it. You feel the energy, right? I hope you're feeling good, and I hope you're feeling positive, and I hope it's a good state.
And I felt it as soon as you logged on. As soon as you logged on, it was like, that's a cool background, man. I like it. And you're like, yeah, that's one of yours. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't use them often, but yeah. A nice warm background, cozy, a bunch of books in the background, sit down, have a cup of tea or coffee, and so it's wonderful. Wonderful. Now, let's see, I'm looking at it. So, as a hypnotist, in the work as an NLP and a hypnotist, what are some of the breakthrough stories that you would like to share?
What happens is we help people get through their struggles and barriers by rewiring those paths in our unconscious mind, by creating new paths. So that scenario that I gave you earlier about the path in the woods, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we deal with people who are sleeping or things like this, and we just rewire that so they come out in a different area. And get this, and I don't even have to know, you don't have to know what the answer is, because our unconscious minds already know. I mean, have you ever cut your hand and it is not healed? Or had something where you got a cold and it doesn't go away eventually? It happens. The body wants to heal itself, and so does the mind. It wants to. It just so often we get caught in loops. We get caught in these patterns, and we get caught in this cycle. And we really need to just break the cycle. So a lot of things are all in the mind. And I'll give you another example of how it's in the mind. I mean, it's scientific. A guy loses his leg, but he still feels the pain in his foot when he's lost it, because it's here. And a lot of it's here. I'm not saying everything's here, but every building that was ever built, every idea that's ever always come from the mind first. So it always starts here, and then it materializes out there. Your podcast right here started as an idea. Then you put that idea into action, and it became what it became because of you and because of your mind.
Yeah, the creativity.
Yeah, and it may not be exactly the way you visualized it, but the seed was planted.
Yeah. And it eventually evolves. It evolves and turns into this,
right.
and turns into that, and this and that, and and you never know.
It grows and changes. Such is life. Just like the seed that's planted.
Yeah.
You may think, it's going to grow and I'm going to have X number. We don't know how much fruit's going to grow from that tree till it sprouts and it grows.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if it's going to get affected by bugs, or if it's going to be great, or if it's going to, once it's done though, it's like, wow, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We just got to let it grow. Water it.
Yeah, definitely got to let it
You
water it.
you want to give it seed. You want to treat it right. You want to grow it up. So you throw all that positive intention to it. You don't just have the idea there and set it on the shelf and let it go away. That's a waste of energy.
Yeah.
There's so many people out there with dreams that are non-fulfilled. Action takes action.
And it's amazing too how plants actually thrive off us. They depend on us too.
Mhm.
And I mean, you just, especially those who have really green thumbs and gardeners and stuff like that, that everything, they talk to the plants. They share the positive energy and they grow better compared to somebody who's got dead plants in their yard because they don't take care of them. They don't talk to them. They don't go out there and be around and take that care and show that love and feeling towards the plants. They depend on us as much as we depend on them.
After all, it's the circle of life, right?
Yeah.
So when I was young and I was a baby, my parents had to take care of me. They had to feed me. They even changed my diapers. They had to do things like this. They had to take care of me, and they had to be there for me. Now that I'm older, I can do it for others. My father-in-law has lived with us for over 20 years. He's 99 years old now.
Wow.
We take care of him. So it happens. It's the circle of life. He watched my wife. He took care of my wife. Now it's our turn to help take care of him. Things happen. It's just the way that it is. That's just life. It's doing the right thing for the right reasons. It's acting in love. It goes right back to my FFL modality, really, is what am I doing right now today? And how am I living in the now? Am I living right?
Yeah. Yeah. Got to live in the moment. Get out of the past. Get out of the past. Live now. Don't worry about the future. It hasn't happened yet. Quit the what ifs.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Or the if only I hads. We got to quit those too.
Yeah. And put the intentions out there. If you want that, the law of attraction, you believe it's already there. Believe it's already here. And it is available to you. And slowly, like attracts like energy, it will come to you.
Not just believe, but act as if.
Yeah.
You got to put the action behind it, not just the belief.
Yeah.
Because then it just becomes another if. And ifs are ridiculous. Ifs never happen. Ifs are just ridiculous. If my aunt had gonads, she'd be my uncle, right?
Right? Yeah.
Ifs are ridiculous.
Yeah. It reminds me of that the animated movie called If. Have you seen that?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so.
If you haven't seen it, it's really cool. I didn't think I'd like it, but it's a really good animated movie. I forget the actor's name, but it's really good. If you ever get to see it, and watch it with the kids too, it's really good for them. But it shows about I think the whole if thing is of all the adults that have now grown up. We all grew up with some sort of maybe imaginary friend. But as we get older, we forget about that stuff. But what if that imaginary friend came back and you now remember it, whatever it was, whatever that friend was. It's great. It's a really good movie.
Well, I guess we need to be careful who we choose as our role models.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, I was really involved in football, and I just wanted to be exactly like O.J. Simpson. Well, thank God that never happened.
Yeah, right? Oh, man, I remember when that went down, man. Jeez. Man, what happened? Jealousy. That's what happens. Jealousy gets in the way. And that's another, sin, another dark sin too. It's
jealousy, anger.
Anger.
I think that not only there's sins, but I think that, and I use the word just because of the definition. I think they're demons.
Yeah.
Because they really can possess us and have us acting in ways that we don't want to act.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Have you ever got angry and just all of a sudden yelled at someone that you really care about and think, man, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we lose control of our own thoughts because we get possessed by these spirits that are pretty sinister and pretty evil. and they're common.
Yeah.
Which is the scary thing, is that they're more common, and we don't even recognize it.
Yeah. So common that we don't only hurt others, we hurt ourselves.
Yes.
It's really it's horrific.
Well, it'll definitely bring up the acid levels in the body. The upset stomach, the headaches, the anger, the flush, the heart rate goes higher, all those things that are all caused by the increased acidic levels in the body. And the only way to get that is to get those better vibrations, the love, the kindness, the forgiveness, all that. If we can infuse that, take a breath and start to infuse some of that energy, it will dismiss all that negativity, and it puts us in a state to change. Because when we're acidic and we have all that negative energy, it's just impossible to change.
Yeah,
it expands to where, like a boulder on the top of the mountain rolling downhill, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah.
So
have you worked with people as far as when it comes to nutrition, how nutrition is very important into changing the vibration, changing our energy state, changing our attitude, and helping us with this, with the FFL?
Yeah, see, a lot of that I think has to do with self-esteem, loving yourself and being there for yourself to take care of yourself. And then also another part of it is this thing that we have where we chase dopamine and avoidance. And a lot of people will eat and binge eat, especially with sweets and things like this, because it's avoidance. And we do the same thing. There's different things. Someone may be using heroin. Another person may be using social media and scrolling. Or their dating app. Or something where it's just an obsession that's causing a problem. Sex, prestige, even, chasing the, things. You can do things where you can just get into a situation where it's an issue with your life. I got to watch myself. Sometimes I'll play chess and I'll think, oh man, I've been playing for too long. I like the game. And it's like, man, I got shit to do. What am I doing to myself? I'll get sidetracked, and, you have that little bit of a dopamine hit to win or pull something off or see that person or laugh at that joke or whatever it may be. That rush from the TV show that we're watching.
Oh yeah,
whatever it is that can get
binge watching your favorite episode of something.
That's probably, well, I used to think that TV was probably one of the most hypnotic things around, because people do get lost in TV just like they get lost in story. I could talk to my kid when they're watching TV and they won't even know what's happening. But video games are pretty addictive too and hypnotic.
Yeah.
But I think probably the best hypnotists in the world are preachers. The whole congregation will be in a trance.
Yeah.
And they'll just be, bound by the words. And it's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's just that we just need to know what's happening and be aware.
I always thought that, and I think it's a conspiracy. I always thought it was a conspiracy. I was like, something? I think that's why the sugar industry and the candy industry owns so many holidays nowadays, is because they're trying to sell the sugar as a drug, and it is a bigger drug. Sugar is more addicting than cocaine, and any other drug out there, and it destroys the body. It turns us into a negative state. Sugar is acidic.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. It's interesting that Coca-Cola used to be the cocaine. It used to have the cocaine in it too, and now it's got a lot of sugar and stuff like that. And I totally get it. The most abused drug in the world, actually, from what I've read, is caffeine.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And that's a big crutch for a lot of people. I quit doing the caffeine. I probably should stop the sugar, but it's definitely a vice for me. I like the sugar.
Yeah.
But it's definitely there. And I think the key is that how am I using it and what am I using it for? And am I really avoiding something that really just we could handle, so I could be present.
Yeah.
Really present.
Very.
I believe that causes a lot of problems with relationships, is the non-presence. When someone's talking to you and you're like not quite there. we lose it.
Yep.
Our mind just drifts away for a while.
And that's the thing too, is like our attention span is like what, only 8 seconds, and normally is with about 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And which is weird, because that's the amount of time that in a rodeo, that the guy is, that's what his time limit is on the bull when he's riding the bull, is 8 seconds. I'm like, really? So you're really testing your attention span if you can stay on that sucker for 8 seconds?
I'm working with a client, and I'm not going to mention any names like that, but he's a champion bull rider. Was a champion bull rider. And this is the thing, is that there is, the attention's there, but we need to walk through it. But we already know that the fear doesn't have to be there.
Yeah.
Because we can walk through these things. I mean, fear is one of those things that can kill a person.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The big thing, it'll keep someone stuck in their past, and they won't chase their dreams because of their fears. They won't make a change today that'll affect the rest of their lives because of the fear. And if the idea has been planted and it's coming from a divine source and it's there for a reason, the seed's been planted, maybe it's a good idea to water it and not be afraid of what it might grow into. Or the bigger one, not be afraid to let go of what you already have.
Absolutely. Yeah. Embrace the good that we have. Being grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. So before we wrap the show, what would you like to offer our audience today as a takeaway, words of wisdom?
Well, you know what? Thanks. I like to end mine with that same question about words of wisdom. But what I want to do as a takeaway, I want to do a giveaway first. And I want to tell you guys is that if you go to my website, www.gounder.com/self-sabotage.com, or not self-sabotage, GoUnder.com self-sabotage. Get my book. Read my book. Now, for words of wisdom, that was my giveaway. Now, for the words of wisdom that I want to give you guys out there in the audience is this. Be real to who you are. Chase those dreams. Don't let those fears of what's going to happen tomorrow stop you. You can't let that past of that what's happened before is going to happen again. We can only live right here, right now. I've said this several times. I love to say it because it makes so much sense to me. Yesterday is a canceled check. It's done. It's over. It's no good. Tomorrow is a promissory note. That's really not worth anything yet. You don't know if you're going to be able to use it or not. But today is cash in hand. And cash in hand, baby, is where it's at. So live right now. Chase those dreams. Do what you need to do right now today in order for you to be right here. And when it feels right here, it's probably good for everybody.
Man. Amen, brother. Heck yeah.
Thanks.
Heck yeah.
Thanks.
Jason, namaste, my friend.
Namaste. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me into your world.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. And welcome back anytime, too.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
It's
been a pleasure for me.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And for your viewers out there, we're going to invite them to my podcast too. So one of these days we're going to flip the script.
Yeah.
And we're going to interview the Reverend Dr. Paul Mekas on my podcast, the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway.
And definitely looking forward to that. I like being guest, because that way I can just sit back and
Oh yeah, we'll be traveling all down your highway. You'll do most of the talking on that one, that's for sure.
Right on. Cool. Heck yeah.
Nice.
Jason, thank you again. And until next time, thank everybody for chiming into Conscious Radio Network's The Seance Podcast. And until next time, we will see you next week.
Thanks again.